Welcome to the 702 Gaming Podcast, episode 28, where we talk about retro games, new games,
All the games,
hardware, software.
everything. We're not afraid of hard or soft on this podcast here.
No, anything for a click. We were just talking about that.
We were. I don't want to repeat any of it though. We we were talking about it, but you don't need to know what we were saying.
So I'm your host, Jacob, and this is Jason, our producer, co-host.
Yeah. I'm back. This is 2 in a row.
I know.
It's
It's
crazy.
nice.
I know.
Nice. We're trying to get together like a larger group for the next one or two, hopefully. Maybe you and Josh, or maybe we could get Michael Lewis back on, or
Guest star.
Kyle.
We need a guest star. Is that what we need?
We're trying to get a guest star.
Okay. Okay. So all of you who are
Yeah.
listening, maybe you could be one of them. Okay. We do
What should
have
they-
contact information where you can reach out to us and we can see kind of where you are with your following, if you have a following, or if you're just a listener and maybe you just want to chit chat about games and stuff.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
We can engage with you. We actually care about our listening audience. So,
Absolutely.
not just someone who's someone, because we're no one.
Yeah, we're nobodies, but
I'm so nobody. Oh my gosh, I don't even know it.
I think that's a great idea, though. If anyone's interested in being a guest star, just hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will talk about it.
Yeah,
We would like the company, I think.
yeah, we're tired of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't notice, that's why he's all the way over there. Before we used to be all in the same room, and now I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's a cologne thing, but something's just not vibing. Okay?
Is my screen even up, or am
No,
I?
no.
Oh,
Yeah, I edited in a big X through your.
I'm audio only this
Exactly.
episode.
Exactly. And I put me over there, so I'm just talking to myself, but it's your voice. It's crazy.
Right on. Today, this is kind of newer. By the time this comes out, it'll have already been over, I'm sure. But Overwatch 2 beta was out, and me and my son messed with it on his PC. It's only available on PC right now, the beta. I really like Overwatch. I play it all the time. I still play it all the time. The beta for Overwatch 2, I was kind of defending the game up until now, where everyone said, why couldn't they have just updated Overwatch 1? Why is it got to be a sequel when it seems so similar?
Yeah.
As far as this beta goes, man, I can't argue that point.
Really?
I mean, it looks and feels like Overwatch 1 with some tweaks to some characters. It was the same maps. There's one new mode, but they could have thrown that in the first game.
Wait, the maps are the same?
Yeah, the maps are the same. The skins that
a
you
bad
unlocked are the same
That's a bad
skins.
look. That's a bad look.
There's
Where you
got to be a
going?
reason. I don't know if they're on a new engine or something is different. I know they're going to add a whole bunch of PvE elements to it,
Right.
try and do like a storyline, whatever. But so far, it feels like Overwatch 1 with tweaks.
So I would love to have my own opinion about it, but I did install it and it kept crashing for me.
Oh,
It kept saying something about the NVIDIA card driver, and I know that everything else works just fine. I have the newest updates and all those things, so I don't know if anyone else in AMD land is experiencing that. I have no idea, but yeah, it just kept crashing on me, so I opted out because of that. I would have been pretty upset though to play the
yeah.
same exact game. Like, there is something to be said about that, where sometimes an update, like we've talked about this before with sports games, is a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the company wants to make that initial $70 off of you, right? Especially with sports titles. They want
Right.
to make that money as much of that as they can, as quickly as they can, before everyone realizes, oh, wait a minute, it's just a new spin move, and then no one's buying it anymore, right? But with first person shooters or games that have like a following like that, that's
Yeah.
weird to me to Like it sounds like it really didn't have to be a part two.
No, because they've already added characters to part one at the initial beginning years. They
Right.
stopped doing that, but so even there was one new character to play on the beta. Now there might be a bunch more coming out with the game. I don't know. The
Right.
new character was a very cool character, very fun. But that could have been added to the first one. Um, I am comparing it to a gaming laptop versus what I play normally. Overwatch 1 is on the Series X. The Series
Okay.
X does run Overwatch 1 at 4K 60, and it looks really nice. Um, the gaming laptop did look very similar to that, so I don't know if it was better or worse. I guess the character models are slightly improved, but I couldn't tell a big difference. I tried to really look, and I didn't see a huge difference there.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's not
Some of
good,
the
man.
some of the updates to the characters themselves, the way they play, I would say they're still very fun and they're different and it's cool, but they've taken away this element from Overwatch, I feel, that made Overwatch a little different from other shooters where it was a much slower paced shooter, right? Time to kill wasn't Call of Duty where pow, headshot, you're gone.
Right.
Usually, I mean, you can get those, but far in between. And it, you usually play 6v6, depending on the mode, but the main mode is 6v6. There's two tanks, two DPS dealer or damage dealers, and then two healers for the team, right? So it's a longer game because you have people shielding other people, you have people healing each other. They've reduced it down to one tank, two DPS, and two healers. Um, it seems like they kind of boosted up the healers a little bit to stay alive a little bit longer. But they've boosted damage maybe on DPS, but they've also boosted damage on the tanks, and they've removed like Orissa's shield to where a tank doesn't necessarily that there's no turtling possibilities, which I know people look at turtling as a bad thing, but that was part of the game was to be able to shield
Yeah.
up. You
Yeah.
have all your people behind, right? And
Yeah.
it could be fun. It's even fun to fight against, in my opinion.
It is.
Um,
It is because there's
to try and
literally a
take those.
way to take it down, right?
Yes, you're
Like
trying to find that chink in the armor, right?
exactly, exactly. I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with that.
Yep. And it was just how the game's played. But now that you only have one tank, even if your tank still has a shield, you can wipe out his shield, and now their entire team has nothing to block them anymore.
Well, I
So
mean,
they've changed the dynamic. It feels much more run and gun now. Though everyone's just running around shooting each other, even the tanks.
nah,
People aren't standing behind the tank anymore. The tank's out there just swinging his
nah.
hammer around, and
That's yeah. That changes like literally the dynamic of the game. You
the
know,
meta of it is going
right.
to be way different.
But now, I mean, this is just this is kind of a not a demo, but this is just kind of a first run. We just want to see how it
Yeah.
plays. So, you know, to me, I didn't know that they had changed it that much because I couldn't get in.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
to not have as many tanks and then to make healing better is a weird. That's a weird like design flaw.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was a to me like I loved playing as a tank. Like that was my go-to. I have always hated being a healer in any game, right? Because you, it's like in real life where they're like, "Hey, what about me?" And you're like, "Oh my god!" But two tanks give you
Well,
a
I
nice
would have
DPS
felt
boost.
like one healer and two tanks would have been better, in my opinion. Because what tends to happen when you finally take out that Mercy that's really hard to take out, that healer, you finally take her out. If there's another healer, there he is. And when you finally take him out, Mercy respawn and she's back.
Right,
And you play
right.
this game of like they've always got a healer where it's much more interesting to me if there's one healer and two tanks because once you finally break down those tanks and you can get to that healer or whatever, their team starts to crumble, right? And then
Yeah,
it's like you start to pick them apart
yeah.
where you might get this like the constant healer coming back thing. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, because
It's
it is
just a
so
beta.
early. Yeah, being so early on, like there's a lot of things that they could change. But to me, if you're going to change the team dynamic like that, at the very least, you've got to change the levels to accommodate completely different team dynamics.
I'm
You know
glad you
what I mean?
brought that up because I thought about that while we were playing is why is this map the exact same, but
Yeah.
it's a different team comp
Yes,
now?
that right there. Like I remember thinking that like with I don't know like Unreal Tournament back in the day, right? Where there's camp spots, and you're like, man. So when 2004 came out, they had similar maps, but those spots weren't there. So it's like, okay, you can still play the same team dynamic you always have, but now something's different,
Hmm.
right? Or it is the same map, but they've changed the camping spots where you can't do what you used to do before. Okay, you can have as many snipers as you want, but if you can't camp out, you guys are dead in the water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to change the team dynamic, like that's really weird. If you're going to change that, all the design has to change to accommodate the difference in gameplay style now. To not do that makes you feel like, what are we playing? We're basically
Hmm.
playing the first game, but we're gimped now. You know what I'm saying? Like they nerfed our team's ability to play like we did in the first one, and unfortunately, this is basically the first game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't
And
work
I'm
for
not
me.
even upset that there's a sequel. I'm just gonna be upset if I gotta pay another $60 for that. That's what's
Yeah,
gonna upset me.
yeah.
Um, that being said, if the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, I have no doubt that Overwatch 2 will be on Game Pass.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It'll be
so
everywhere
I'm
actually.
I'm hoping it goes through. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd still be on the other platforms and everything, but I just hope that it does come to Game Pass so I don't have to pay for it.
Now, it's funny. Like with Game Pass, I was talking with someone else the other day about Game Pass, which is funny because like I don't know who that person is. We both had like a video game shirt on, and he's like, "You game?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, like, I'm just kidding. Of course I do." So we start talking. He's talking about Game Pass. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, my boy is all about that." He's like, "Yeah, like I don't ever have to pay for anything else," and it kind of made me think there. I'm like, I don't know if that's good or
I
not.
mean, yeah, there is some downsides to it, I'm sure, for the industry, but as
Yeah,
far as we are still technically paying for it,
you
we're
are.
paying we're paying a subscription fee, and yes, you don't keep the games unless you buy them at a discount because they're on Game Pass. But I look at it as like a Sega channel or a
Yeah.
GameFly, where I can
Gamefly.
download
Oh,
it. Yeah, I just pay
Gamefly.
my except that
Gamefly.
yeah, except that like I can actually get the game get day one, not like
Right.
wait 6 months because everyone else has the disc.
Look, bro, I returned it eventually.
Man.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, people don't know what they
It,
have now. So,
I look at it like one of those.
like I get that, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but the reality is those developers, if they want to get it on Game Pass, they're doing it for a discount, right? So they're discounting their game somehow, some way to Microsoft so that they can promote it,
Right.
basically. And I don't know if maybe the business model is, hey, you promote it on Game Pass, and once it's off of Game Pass, people are going to want to buy it because they got a chance to play it. But I don't know. I don't
Well,
know if
so
that's
I
really
know
happening.
Microsoft doesn't really share that kind of information, like
Right.
their sales and all that stuff. But I have heard some interviews of indie developers that have sort of talked about it. And I guess every deal is different. So Guardians of the Galaxy being a big game was different than a
Okay.
little indie game. And I guess the little indie games, it's more like they go to Microsoft and go, "Hey, we have this game we're making. We don't really have." Any way to promote it or anything. Microsoft will say, I'll give you this lump sum, but it's going to be on Game Pass for this amount of time, and they don't make any money off of it besides that lump sum. So it gives them that initial lump sum. Maybe people start talking about it, and then they could sell copies after it's off Game Pass, or once it's, now that maybe it released on PlayStation the same time, they're making money off of that. But it'll give them that initial boost. But then I think Guardians of the Galaxy is like a different setup where they don't really need just a lump sum. Who knows what their, You know,
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah, who knows what their
a
deal
bigger
is,
game, like I don't know, like something like Call of Duty or something like that.
right?
If that ends up on there, they're obviously not going to get the same deal that you know a Plague's Tale
Right.
developer got.
Exactly. Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course there's a fairness in there, but I'm sure obviously these developers prove themselves with the in sales so they can get a better deal. I get that, but I just
Hmm.
don't know if that's really, I don't know, like if that's good for the longevity of the gaming market. Like you brought up Sega Channel. I do remember when Sega Channel came out, I stopped buying games for my Genesis, right?
Yeah, that's why you're like it's right
Yeah.
there.
I'm like, bro, I got everything I need right here,
Yeah,
and
Toe Jam and Earl's right here.
over and over, right? That's the
Yeah,
reality.
over
Is
and
they
over.
kept
Every other
giving you,
month it kept
yeah, they
popping
were
up.
like, remember this game? Like, yeah, I do. I played it a lot.
Hit Fighter again.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Pit Fighter, Jesus, such a deliciously bad game that is. But yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking about that the other day, and just like, yeah, maybe that's not a good thing. You know,
Well, another,
maybe.
it could be that Microsoft will have to start dishing out more money for these games. And at that point, I'm worried that Game Pass will go up from $15 a month because if it gets up to, I think they announce the PlayStation's version of their, where you could play old games, some new game.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
cheap.
no, it's not cheap. PlayStation right now is like we have fu money, so give us more,
Right.
right? We got a
Yeah.
system no one can find. We've got a pretty decent library of games, and we're winning the console war for whatever that's worth right now. This generation is ours type of thing. So they're doing whatever they want to do, and unfortunately, yeah, they came out right now and said, "Here's our price point. What are you gonna do?"
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All
Where are you
right,
gonna go?
and it's like, okay, I guess I'll play it. I personally won't, but
I,
people
you
will.
know if I had a PlayStation, you know what I would do is I would do what all these people do on a streaming site is wait until there's enough games on it to pay my 1 month.
Yep.
I will smoke them all
Yep.
and I will cancel.
Yep. And
I feel like Game Pass's price point is there to where I feel totally comfortable just leaving it locked in and
right.
just paying it every month. I don't have to cancel it to save some cash
Right.
next month because there's no games. There's
Right.
always games and like a surprising amount of games and a cheap price.
I mean, again, they seem to, that seems to be the thing that they're doing right this generation, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's failing or anything like that, but I'm just saying that one thing everyone likes.
Yeah,
I haven't run into anyone yet that's like, oh, it's a waste of money or they never have anything. Everybody likes it.
it's true. Anyone that's using it seems to kind of get hooked on it. Even if I wasn't thrilled about it at first, to be honest. I didn't sign up for Game Pass for a while because I'd look at it and I'd be like, man, it's 100 games or whatever it was. But when you look through it, it's like going to Blockbuster. 99%, you're like, this is, you know,
Yeah.
garbage. I'm not going to play this.
Blockbuster. Well, see, here's the difference though. When I went to Blockbuster, I went in and I was like, I don't care about those new movies. Where's the crap?
You're going to,
All right, like I'm looking for those movies where you're like, I don't think that covers really what the movie is like, and you get it anyway, and you're like, oh my gosh, Pinocchio's Revenge, what an amazing movie. That's a real movie, by the way. Oh, Dolly
does he
Dearest,
kill
like,
Geppetto?
no, but there is a bit of the lore in there,
Okay.
just a tiny bit, but yeah, that you find those gems that way. So
That's interesting because a, a crappy game doesn't tend to usually get like a cult following or anything. A crappy game just
no,
is a crappy game.
no,
Where a crappy movie can still be enjoyable.
it can because you can get a bunch of people around. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. No one gets together, right, and plays, I don't know, Clay Fighter,
Yeah, and
and
you're
it's
like,
like
oh,
so
these
much
controls
fun.
suck.
Yeah,
I
like
love how much.
can you believe it? Your turn. No one does that. Isn't the jump delay so bad? I know. I keep dying. Your turn.
Man, I love this
No one's doing
12
that.
frames per second. It's awesome. It adds such character.
It doesn't at all. I mean, there's something to be said about loving. Obviously, I'm a retro guy, so there's something to be said about, man, I see what they were trying to do,
Yeah.
right, with the technology they had, and they did that for whatever it's worth. A game like Space Hulk, which you probably never even heard of. I know what it is. Some of our listeners will know what it is. Good try. I swear it ran at like 10 frames a second though. But you're like, wow, that's another one when I discovered. So the amount of frames really matters on if I get nauseous. Gotcha.
Mm,
All right. So
got to be smooth.
it has to be Doom on the 32X. I see what you guys are doing there, but I'm like, I feel like I got COVID before it was a thing, right? Like,
Maybe that's where it started.
I know, right? Am I like ground zero, right? Am I patient zero? So, but yeah, you're right though. There is no, that game was so bad. Let's sit down, me and you, and run through it. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Maybe it does. I don't know. If you guys are one of those maniacs who
Let
plays
us know
bad
what game
games,
that is. Maybe
yeah,
we're wrong.
let me know.
Maybe
the
they'll
game.
name one and we'll be like, dude, we do love that game.
No, they won't. They're not going to do that, right? But I want you guys to out yourself in the comments somehow, right? Because if you are one of those people, I guarantee you're the maniac in the gym who's wearing full jeans and just like sandals with no socks on, and you're working out. I bet you're that guy. I just ran into one of those guys. I'm like, no, let him have the weights. It's okay. He's got something else going on.
Yeah, he's got issues.
He's got a whole thing going on over there.
So, speaking of a new game on Game Pass, it's not newer, but I played through quite a few hours of it, probably more than that. I really am liking it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do. And I think it's right up your alley, Jason. I think if you haven't tried it yet, I think you got to buy it. Okay. Tunic.
It's a platformer side scroller, right?
No, it's like more like a Zelda. Looking down, old
did you
Zelda,
put
yeah,
any of
like
that
looking
on
down.
your Twitter?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah.
Where you're like a red fox.
Yes. Nah,
I think very Zelda like.
I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Woo, holler. Yeah, just the screenshots alone look like something that I would play. Like 100%.
I really like it. There's so many secrets in that game. Most of the game you're trying to find like a secret passage or somewhere behind a tree or wow, because of the camera angle, this pillar is just barely blocking a bridge that I didn't see or you can kind of change the angle, so sometimes you'll change the angle and you'll see something totally that you wouldn't have looked for and it might bring you to a better weapon or a power upgrade. And it's a tough one too. When you die, it kind of does the Souls thing where you drop your stuff and you have to go back to pick it up.
You are losing me. No, I'm kidding.
It just makes it more difficult, so
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you said Souls and I was like, I'm checking out. I'm kidding.
Stay with us.
I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. Yeah, the screenshots again of that look really good. Is that the newest thing you've been playing?
One of the newer ones. I mean, Valheim.
Right out. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was thinking Valheim is Valheim is probably the newest one I've gotten into, and that's because I got the Steamdeck.
Right.
And so I've been messing around with that, building up my power and Viking axes.
Yeah, you're gonna, I have it, so.
Yeah, we'll have to hop on there.
Yeah, I gotta grind out a little bit just to, reach the level of which that I can enter the castles that you guys are in. Like, what is going on right now? We all start at 0. That's how we got to do it.
No, mine is, if you see the hut I made, my attempt at a house, oh, you'll laugh.
Okay.
I mean, I got angles of ceiling poking through down into the ground. I got grass growing out of the carpet. Yeah, it's nothing to be proud of.
Actual house looks. Okay. I'm very rustic that way. My resale is going to be crazy.
And I've only beaten the first boss on that game.
It's actually on sale right now.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know if it'll be on sale by the time this releases, but it's on sale right now. I think it's like 24
on
bucks
Steam,
or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Steam. So,
worth it. It's a good one. Cool.
All right. I know we talked about this in the last podcast, and I think it'd be awesome, not just when I get my Steam Deck. Come on. Whenever that comes in,
Yeah.
But
Keep checking that email.
I have to check it today. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
There are definitely some games that I like. You are a game beater, right? I
Usually, yeah.
don't act like that, okay? Just look, all
Usually.
right. Just because we're in front of people, don't act like that, all right? Because you are, there are certain games that I don't know anyone else who has the wherewithal to grind through them. Something like Cuphead. I've been waiting to beat that, and I'm stuck on my own. Okay, in my defense, I'm playing it on my arcade, so it's definitely harder
That's cool.
there, right? But my arcade is hooked up to Steam as well, so you and I should absolutely beat like
Yeah.
those type of games that I'm telling you, no one has
Let's do it.
the
I haven't.
testicular fortitude to beat.
That's a nice way to put that.
I do what I can. So yeah, we got to
That's a
do
good
that,
one.
man. I want to do it.
Yeah, it would be awesome on the Steam Deck to play
Hmm.
because it is that retro style.
Yes,
It's a beautiful game. I
it's
love
beautiful.
that game, but I haven't beat it either.
What?
I played pretty far through it. I've gotten
Okay.
pretty far, but man, does it get hard.
Yeah, it's nothing but like a boss rush. Like
It is so hard.
after the first 3 levels, I would say there's no more level where you're like jumping and then spinning and getting
Nope.
no. It's like it starts out boss. Next level starts out boss.
And you're just sweating the whole and the
Yes,
bosses you finally think you beat them and they transform into
of course.
something else. You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh my."
the
He's
game
got
is a metaphor for life, right?
he's got Yep.
Dude, we have to do that. I have so many different games, and if you haven't listened to our last podcast, do it, or I'll find you. But in that one, we spoke. Sorry, I'm serious. We spoke about different games where you were kind of like, I wanted to see how this one ran on there. Literally, all these games are going to run flawlessly on there. So I'm
Yep.
telling you, I got a lot of games that we should absolutely try to grind out together. Games
Yes.
like uh, Resident Evil 6, which is co-op. I've been
That's a good one.
wanting to beat that for the longest, and I keep getting
Okay.
like to a certain spot, and then something happens where it's called life, right?
Yeah.
And then you come back and like,
Distractions.
yeah, I don't know, I remember where I
And
was
you
at.
just start it all over.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yep.
Like if I don't remember the story, I might as well start it over. So, yeah, man, that's
We'll have to do that. That sounds really good.
yeah, I think so too. I'm excited.
What
Yeah.
have you been playing?
So I know I told you I finally got my arcade guns in for the arcade, and I spent better part of 3.5 weeks getting them all kind of like up and configured, which, whew, that's the thing.
Now, are
And
these light guns?
yes,
So
so
it uses the where the screen turns off or whatever flickers,
so
or
you
is it
know
a new style?
it's I mean, that's essentially how light guns work, right? Like
Hmm.
when you're thinking light guns, we all, if you're of a certain age anyway, most people don't even know what these are if you're young enough. But the old school technology, yeah, when you hit the trigger, the screen actually flashed black. And if you could take a snapshot of it, you would actually see there's like, white targets on the screen. And if during that flash of black, if you were aiming at that target, then it would register in the next flash to the actual game that you hit it. So these games, are more modern than, let's say, the original Duck Hunt or
Hmm.
Hogan's Alley or something like that. Where like I've been playing Time Crisis, I've been playing Area 51, I've been playing Operation Wolf. Like those are legitimate arcade light gun games, so they don't have necessarily that flash that the
Okay.
old CRT games did, but I've got all those games in the old ones as well, so they do still flash some of them. But I've been grinding out on that, giving myself a maximum of $5 in quarters
Okay. Okay.
and seeing how
You're
far
keeping
I
it
can get.
realistic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to, right? Because I'm a po' boy, so I don't have that much money. So in my virtual po' boy world, I only bring $5, and it's like let's go time. So
I love those type of shooters
I
too.
love them, man. But I am finding that maybe when I was younger and my arms weren't as heavy, maybe that this sucks after a while. Because sitting
Yeah.
there like this and then this, like do that for 30 minutes, and next thing you know, you're like, I want to play something else. my
Yeah,
my delts hurt,
my
you know.
joints hurt. Yeah.
But yeah, that's honestly that's what I've been playing a lot of. I've been grinding
That's
out on
really cool.
that, and still playing. Um, Not Pirates of the Caribbean. The pirate game,
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
Oh, you've been playing that?
Yeah, I've been playing with my nephew. I'm thinking Pirates of the
Yes.
Caribbean because of the DLC they have for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been playing that with both my nephews. You know,
Excellent.
I do like the game. There's things that I don't like about it, but they're not outweighed at all by the things that I do like. You know, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I still have not seen a Kraken yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I have not seen one.
Okay.
I have seen a couple megalodons. I've harpooned a couple great whites, which is always fun. I fought one in the water with just like a knife, and I won. I was like, wow. So yeah, I've been doing that as much as I can. Just still trying to mix it in. And the last thing is I've been playing a lot of Sniper Elite on the VR.
Oh, okay. How's
Yeah,
that on VR?
absolutely amazing. I feel
Is it?
like yeah, I feel like the law is gonna come to my door at any minute and be like, "Were you the guy doing all those headshots?" I'm like, "It was
Now, is it
me."
like you're holding your sniper and you really look into the scope to
Yeah,
see through it?
yeah.
Oh,
Like
ooh,
you're doing this number to make sure like where your aim
wow.
is. Yeah, it's
And if you haven't played VR yet, that sounds simple, but that is so
so hard.
immersive and so crazy when you
Yes.
look through something in VR.
Yep. It's a whole new world, and I mean at this point I guess the game isn't the newest, but I don't really care. Play what I want to play.
Yeah,
It's an amazing game, absolutely amazing.
very cool.
Yeah, and
Well, all
actually,
right.
I'm sorry. There's one more, and I'm gonna get the name wrong. Best way to say it is it's essentially Indiana Jones in VR. It's called like the
Really?
Temple something or other. But it's room scale VR, so you kind of want to have a little bit of space, and as you literally need the space because you're doing this stuff in VR. So you're not
Uh,
just using the joystick
and it's
toggles and
like
stuff.
puzzle type, like
Yeah,
Tomb
so
Raider type stuff.
exactly, you've got a whip and everything. So
Wow.
yeah, it really that's a lot of fun, also. But yeah, that's kind of my recap of gameage, if I can create a word right there.
Hey, your gameage is right.
Yeah, I coined
And
that phrase now. It's on me. Yeah, copyright.
all right, let us know in the comments below what you guys are playing, or if there's something that we need to try out. Let us know.
Yeah. Yeah. All that. Again, we always appreciate you guys so much. And hey, like we said at the beginning of this, looking for some co-host.
Yeah.
Reach out
If
to
you've
us.
made it all the way to this point in the
Oh my
podcast,
gosh.
yeah, you're a true listener.
Yeah, you, the one person I'm talking to, you're the one, right? So contact us, and let's see what we can work out. That might be kind of cool. I don't think anyone does that actually.
Not that I know of.
No one interacts with
We're
their
doing it.
fans. Yeah. Who like really think about that, guys? Who interacts with their fans like that?
I don't think there's been one comment that I haven't replied to in our YouTube or Twitter.
No, I left the one about your body, and you didn't feel the need to reply to me.
Well, that's it, folks.
He's doing it right now.
Well, yep. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right, guys.